Okay, today is Chinese New Year, fifth day. Uh, I think 2 days ago I received, someone sent me a picture through the Facebook, I think, about 3 tigers. The first tiger on the first day of Chinese New Year is like me, like that, slim. Then come second day of Chinese New Year, the tiger has grown a bit fatter. Then on the third day of Chinese New Year, the tiger has become quite fat. Today is the fifth day. I suspect it will become an obese, an obese tiger. So, please eat, but don't eat so much. Because actually Chinese New Year is fantastic because there are so many goodies that we want to consume. And sometimes we eat 1 year's portion in 1 week's time. And today I want to share with us this topic called the similarities between Passover and the Chinese New Year festival. You know that actually the Chinese and the Jews are very similar as far as I'm concerned. Right? I believe that God loves the Jew, right? They are God's people. Then how about us Chinese? I believe God loves us, no less. No less, because there are many areas that there are many similarities that the Chinese have with the Jew. And not only that, if we look at some of our historical, our characters, the Chinese Hanzi, the origin of Chinese characters is not what you see today. Today is 小楷, 大楷, That one is about 5 generations. The first generation is called the Jiagu and the bone oracles. And the bone oracles were really the first characters that the Chinese ancestor created when they created physical words. And the Chinese character actually has pictograph, means you see picture, you get the idea, like horse, horse and fish. You look at the fish, the Chinese character, it's a fish. We got scale, got head, got eye, and then got the tail. So everything you see. So that's called pictograph. Then we have the ideograph, not idiot, ideograph means an idea. An ideograph. Ideograph means they put different characters or different parts together to give us an idea of the meaning of the word. It's like the word height in Chinese, we call tuo. If you break up the word, actually it's 3 parts. Shen, nai, mu means body is wood. Body is wood. When God called Adam, Adam was hiding behind the tree. So body is wood. See? So how did our ancestor know all this? Now I believe that actually our ancestor knows the Bible story. That's why when they created the Chinese characters, the Hanzi can explain. Now, as far as I am concerned, I believe that Hanzi can explain the first 11 chapters of the book of Genesis. We can take some of these characters, and then we can explain Genesis 1 to 11. And I can tell you this, no other languages in the world except the Hebrew, they call it Paleo Hebrew, which is the first form or the oldest form of Hebrew that can explain to you about God. Other than that, only the Chinese characters can explain God. No other languages in the world. Now, why? And not only this, as you look at Passover, and then we look at the Chinese festival, then we see certain similarities again. And to me, it is not just coincidence. It cannot be too much coincidences. And these similarities actually tell us that our Chinese ancestors, they do know about a true God. And in fact, our ancestors probably did not worship, what they are worshiping today other than Christianity. Because all the religion actually is at about 600 BC. 600 BC, with Chinese history has about 5 to 8,000 years of, 5 to 8,000 years of history. The other 3,000 years, what did the Chinese worship? It cannot be those religions, but one true God. And the true God is really the God that we are worshiping today. Okay, let's look at the similarities. Both these festivals it occurs, they occur in spring. Obviously in Singapore, we don't have 4 seasons, right? We only 3 seasons. I told you before about hot, hotter, hottest. Only 3 seasons. Right? But in China, yes, spring and summer and winter and autumn, right? So Chinese New Year actually happens in where? Spring. That's why we sing the Chinese song, 大地回春, right? So you see, in Singapore, we sing this song and no meaning at all because we are singing the hot sun. So what 大地回春? 春 what? Not 春. Ours is hot sun, hotter and hotter, you know. So but actually it's a spring festival. That's why it's called 春节, right? And the Passover this year will occur on 15th of April, 15 to April 15 to 23rd. They celebrate about 8 days, right? Because after that it will be the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. So this is the Passover for this year. Not yet, it will happen soon. And the Jews celebrate Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread in the month or in spring. That's why it's called the spring festivals. If you check the Jewish calendars, right, they have spring festivals. In fact, they have 3, you know, and then the other 3, and then plus 1 more. And our Chinese New Year, obviously, we all know that Chinese New Year is February 1st and 2nd. We already celebrated it, right? And both these festivals actually marks the beginning of the year. Now, for us Chinese New Year is actually more important than 1st of January, right? 1st of January is just for the holiday sake. Do you really celebrate? No, I think as far as the traditional Chinese, the 1st of January is really not really a festival. It's to us just a holiday, you know, and that's it. But you really, is it the beginning of the year? Oh, for the official, for the school, is the beginning of the year. But for us Chinese, no. Your age and my age is really counted by the Chinese age, you know, not by the English calendar. Right, wrong? Unless you come from another planet. So Chinese New Year is really the beginning of the year. And for Passover, it's also the starting of the new year for the Jew. So there are these similarities. And both Jewish and Chinese culture observe the lunar calendars, incidentally. Right? And although they do not share the same calendar, but it's really the lunar calendar. The Jews' calendar has 30 days only, 1 month. Right? But Chinese has a bit more. And then we may make adjustment, you know. Chinese are more calculative, I think. Chinese are more calculative than the Jew, by the way. That's why in China, very few Jews survive. In Singapore, less Jew. In fact, not many Jews, you know. Really, our Jewish community is getting smaller and smaller. We have Jewish community in here around this place called Elias, you know, Elias Building, Mount Sophia. But the Jews are really very smart people. But they met their match, you know. So Chinese are also very smart. I'm talking about you. So you have one in spring. Then the second similarity, what is that? There is the thorough cleaning. You know, very interesting. No other cultures during their festival, their New Year, that they do so-called their elaborate cleaning. Now, obviously, they tidy their house a bit. But for the Jews and for the Chinese, it's not just a normal tidying up. It is a very special, it's a very big operation. So we have what you call spring cleaning, right? I do not know today whether you still spring clean your house or not. Do you? No, I think very few people spring clean. We use vacuum cleaner. So in my days, when I was a young boy, I stayed in a kampong, and I'm sure those of you who stay in kampong will share with me the same sentiment. Spring cleaning was a very exciting time, you know. You know why? Because it's fun time. Really fun time. We stay in a kampong, we don't use vacuum cleaner. We'll go to the bamboo bush, and then we will chop bamboo branches, you know, and then we tie them together, put into a bamboo pole, and then we will tie it up, and then we will ruffle up all the dirt, you know, all the spider webs, you know, of the house, and it's a big operation. And the whole kampong, everybody is doing it. Everybody. So it's very fun. And after you clean your own house, you are very kepo, you go and clean your neighbor's house also. So this is how spring cleaning is all about, right? And if you have gone through that, then you realize what spring cleaning is all about. Today, we don't really do that. Now in Singapore, I don't really find that happening. But spring cleaning is just that exciting and important. But why? According to the Jewish culture, the Feast of the Unleavened Bread and the Passover are back to back. And the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, by the name of that festival, means that it has no leaven for that week. For that week, they cannot consume any food that has leaven. Because why leaven is a problem? Why? Leaven actually is a symbol of hypocrisy, a symbol of sin, a symbol of puffiness. Because you see, those of you ladies who bake cakes, you know that if you want to bake cakes, you need what? Rising powder, right? Rising flour. You need yeast. You need to let yeast, ferment the dough, and then the dough will rise. And the rising, you eat pandan cake. Actually, you can eat a lot of pandan cake and not full, not feeling like. You know why? Because there is a false sense of security. Look a lot, but actually very little only. It's like styrofoam like that, It look a lot, but no substance one. It's puffy. So leaven is removed in every Jewish house. And the mothers are the people who cook. And the mother knows where the leaven are kept. So the mother will actually remove all the leaven in the house, except to keep a tiny bit left. The mother will keep a little bit left a bit. The rest she dispose it. And then during, before Passover, they will play this game. The mother will hide the leaven in the house, and then the father and the children will play the game. The mother no need to play because the mother is the one who hide the leaven, right? But they will always find the leaven one. You know why? Because the mother will tell the father. So definitely you will find. Cannot don't find. Must find, So cannot be so secretive that you can't find. Then you beat the purpose. So they will become a fun thing. And then in every Jewish home, during this period, every child will have a fun of searching where's the leaven. Where's the leaven? Now, you see, year after year, this concept will pass down in the home. And when it's passed down very ingeniously, it's very creative. It's not like, you sit down, stand here, I tell you what about leaven. No. We play a game. And then when they found the leaven, they will use a feather to, sweep it onto a dustpan. And then they bring out, and they start a fire, and they burn the last lot of leaven in the house. So all Jewish children will know that leaven are not supposed to be kept in the house during the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. And they do it year after year. And it becomes a tradition. And so that is the way that they pass down the tradition from one generation to the other. Unfortunately, I think for us Chinese, some of these good traditions, we have kind of slowly adulterated it. We have not emphasized it as we had in time past. So the Jews get rid of leaven because to the Jews, leaven represents ceremonially uncleanness. Because if there are leaven in the home, means they are ceremonially unclean. And removing all this yeast, it becomes a spiritual cleansing to the Jew. Now, for the Chinese, when we do spring cleaning, what does it mean? Now, really, there is no religious or spiritual connotation when we do spring cleaning, except that it is just removing dirt, removing what is old, removing what is no good, and then we welcome the new. Or in Chinese, it's called 除旧迎新. We get rid of all the old, and then we welcome the new. Now, what is the old? What are the old? Well, the old could be all the bad things, right? All the bad habits, all the this and that. So this concept is pretty similar to the Jewish Passover. You see, these similarities, you may think, well, is it really that significant and that important? But you don't find that in other cultures. You don't find it in the other cultures, right? In the Western culture, do you find that they do spring cleaning? The way, cleaning they will. In fact, every week they should clean. Not only every week, every day they should clean. But never as elaborate as a spring cleaning in the Chinese New Year, context. And so in spring cleaning, we in Chinese New Year, we should make sure that everything is clean. That's why in every estate, they have to bring in the big, bins, to accommodate all the rubbish that we're going to throw. Because this is a tradition. Right? It's a good tradition. And in fact, all of us should take the old that is not pleasing to the Lord, things that are, God finds it as an abomination. Then we should actually put it behind and throw it away, and then welcome something that is new. And this happened in both cultures is very interesting. Thirdly, the third similarity, doors are all in red. In Exodus 12, we read this. On the same night, I will pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn of people, of both people and animals, and I will bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you. No destructive plague will touch you when I strike Egypt. Now, we all know the background of the Passover, right? This is the last plague. Prior to that, there were 9 plagues. 9 plagues that God sent to in a way, warn Egypt, warn Pharaoh, who was the decision maker, to release the children of Israel, because Moses has come and pleaded with Pharaoh to release and let the children of Israel go. But the Egyptian was, obviously they were not willing. Why? Because they were cheap labor. The Israelites were the foreign labor. Foreign labor is nothing new, It happened in the Bible. So these were cheap labor. In fact, they were slaves. They were not paid much. Or whether they were paid at all. And they had millions of cheap laborers. Who will let the cheap labor go? So God had sent 9 plagues early on. And yet nothing happened. And this is the last plague. God said that He will send the angel of death to pass through the whole of Egypt. And all the houses, especially the Israelites, because the Israelites were given notice in advance. You want to escape this plague, then kill a lamb, take the blood, sprinkle it on both the lintel, both doorpost and the lintel. And then on that night, the angel of death, God says, He will send the angel of death to sweep through the whole of Egypt. And any house, including the Israelites, if the house has no blood, then that household, inside that house, the household, all the firstborn, animals or men, will die. On the other hand, if the Egyptian heard this, got insider trading, then they also don't know how they kill a lamb and they sprinkle the blood, they will also be spared. So as far as God is concerned, the angel of death does not care whether you are Jew or you are Egyptian. The angels of death only recognize blood. Blood on the door, safe. No blood, God bless you. So that was what happened on that night. And so today, when they celebrate Passover, they sprinkle blood on the doorposts and also on the lintel. And then now you look at the Chinese. The Chinese hung what? They call the couplets. In Chinese it's called 对联. I don't know whether when you came in, you all notice that we also have one set of couplet outside the door, the lift door. You all never see? I actually taken the picture, But by the way, these couplets are not superstitious. Don't view these couplets as something superstitious. Because, actually very sad, because we are English educated. And many English educated or English speaking churches, when the main congregation are mainly Chinese, but they are English speaking churches. Many of such people, they have received actually a kind of input in time past that Chinese culture are no good. Chinese culture are, very superstitious and blah, 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 And as a result, when they became a Christian and when we became a Christian, we kind of so scared to practice, to continue to practice this good Chinese tradition. We put that aside. Right? We put that aside. And you do anything Chinese, they say, oh, this is devilish. Acupuncture is devilish. Chinese medicine is devilish. Many things are devil. You know? By the way, English medicine has only about 300 years of history. Before English medicine arrived, where they got healed, I don't know. So if Chinese medicine is devilish, then you think about it. Okay, next time we have time, we can talk. It's very interesting. So when I was young, as a young Christian, I tell you, my head, were all filled with, Chinese tradition is bad. So Chinese culture, in fact, I have personal struggle. I personal struggle that in Chinese culture that I regret. I regret. Today, I cannot unwind the clock. I cannot turn back the clock. I cannot do something that I failed to do before. I'm very passionate about it because I'm one of those who suffers, right? So I really want to share this so that we can pass on good traditions, good culture as Chinese, so that we can bring the gospel to our seniors. You know why seniors, the grandfather, the grandmother, your granduncle and grandauntie finds it so hard to accept Jesus Christ? There's only one reason. It's not because the gospel is no good, but because they cannot trust Christianity. The moment a person becomes a Christian, they think that you have no more ancestor. Everything cut off. Who dare to accept Christianity? They will not. Because this fear. So it is our responsibility to be able to bridge this over, to bring a bridge so that we can show them and give them confidence that accepting Jesus, accepting Christianity is not about throwing away all our Chinese culture. There are beautiful Chinese customs and culture that we can retain and continue to practice that is for the benefit of our future generations. So if you have a problem witnessing to your grandfather, grandmother, your mother and your father, let me tell you this. Often than not, they are stumbled with filial piety. They are stumbled with Chinese tradition, right? So I hope that this message will really help us clarify some of these misgivings, so that we can really present the gospel, present the culture in a positive way, so that they can find confidence in the religion that we are practicing. See, in Passover, during the Passover, the Jews are celebrating their freedom from slavery, their departure from Egypt to find new freedom to go into the promised land, because they have been slaves for 430 years. So now the Passover is the time that they will set them free. And passing over is passing over from what? Danger to life, because the angel of death, right? So they pass over. That's why this feast called Passover. Then we look at the Chinese New Year. Now, the couplet I mentioned before, right? We paste the couplet and they're all red. And by the way, red in Chinese culture is not necessarily blessing. That's why we give ang bao, right? And please continue to give. You give the ang bao, a lot of people look at the value inside the ang bao, right? Wrong? But really, when it first started, it's not about the value inside, the money inside the ang bao. It is something that they want to give to those people who helps you who have done something that is not exactly very so-called good luck, Like, for example, the pallbearer, those people who have to carry the coffin. Sorry, New Year must tell you about this. The pallbearer, all these people who do all this, they call the 白事, So in order to help them to ward off evil, that's why they give them a red paper. The red paper is to ward off evil. Now, let me ask you this. I'm sure you have seen funerals, right? You have seen funeral happening around your estate. If you are in the Chinese estate, Chinese estate. If you live in a terrace house, especially those living in terrace houses, you see there is a funeral, right, occur. And terrace houses normally, sometimes they have their wake in front of their house. Then they encroach into their neighbor's lot, right? So what do? They take red paper, they go and paste on the neighbor doorpost, right? Right? Why? How come they don't put money? only paste paper, never paste money. So they only paste a paper, red one. Why? It's to ward off. So it's to tell the family that, our because we had to do this wake and funeral, it may not be good to you, So we help you to ward off the not so good thing. So we put a red paper. So this is the idea. The idea is not only to bring good luck. The idea is to ward off evil. Now, if you look at this and you look at the Passover, then you see the similarities. That Passover is to ward off evil from the spirit, the angel of death, whereas Chinese New Year, this red, is really to ward off the danger. Because in the Chinese myth, right? Chinese New Year has a myth. I'm sure you have heard about, but let me cut the long story short, right? It's called Nian. This Nian, we say 过年, the Nian. The Nian is actually a monster. And every year, the same day or same night, this monster will come out and devour the children. It's a myth, right? So don't really believe it too much. It's a myth. And it will devour the children. So in order, they were all scared. Every year when that particular night arrives, all of them were fearful and they will keep their children away. Until one day, some smart Alex told them, don't worry about this Nian. All you need is, make a lot of noise. So they bang gong, they use firecrackers, Then they say the Nian also scared of red, So they all paint red, wear red. So true enough, for that particular year, they cross over the year. They cross over the year. That's called 过年, 过年. So they cross over the year without facing the danger. Now, so you look at this, you say this is a myth, but I'm going to tell you this. I think there is certain truth in this myth. Probably the character and all those things may not be exactly accurately transmitted. But I believe the concept is there. The concept is what? The concept of avoiding evil, being able to cross over from a night of fear, a night of terror. 过年. Now you look at that. If you look at that and you look at Passover, see the similarities. So you see, for us Chinese 过年 is celebrate what? 过年 is not to celebrate you have a promotion. It's not about you celebrating, finding a new house. But it's really in the original, it means to get, because you are able to avoid evil, avoid some calamity. That's why it's called 过年. And the Jewish concept is very similar. So today, if you go to Chinatown, now the commercial people, the businessmen are very wise. Last time they only sell traditional, these couplets. Now they sell Christian couplet. Okay, God bless you also have. Right? So I think it's good. I think sometimes maybe it's good for us to even keep the Chinese tradition. Right? So that when people look at us, don't look at us as quite Christian, That the moment you become a Christian, your Chinese-ness, is there such a word? Your China-ness. Your Chinese-ness is no longer Chinese anymore. Now you become a banana. You know what's a banana? Yellow outside, white inside. We need not be banana. We can be mango. Yellow outside, yellow inside. Amen. So next time call ourselves mango Christian. Alright, not banana Christian. Fourthly, the fourth similarity, the Seder meal. Now the Seder meal and also the Chinese reunion dinner. Now what is a Seder meal? I know that in this church, we all, or in time past, we all very knowledgeable about the Jewish culture, right? Okay, what is a Seder meal? The Seder meal is the Passover meal that the Jews view it very importantly. For one simple reason. For thousands of years, the Jews have experienced atrocity. Many persecution, atrocity, genocide. See, from the time of Moses, right? Moses' time, all the baby were killed, thrown into the river, and later how they were persecuted. They suffer under Herod. Herod also killed all the children during Jesus' time, and then all throughout history until Second World War, and you look at the millions of Jews died. See, the Jew has gone through a very painful history, atrocity. And so to them, Passover is the time where they gather all the family members from all over the world, in fact, if they can, to come back and enjoy that one meal. And that one meal to the Jews are so important. And you look at our Chinese New Year reunion dinner, or we call 年夜饭. See, the Chinese New Year, when I was younger, I don't really care so much about the Chinese reunion dinner. No, to me, dinner is dinner. What's so great about dinner? Every day also eat dinner. No, Chinese New Year dinner, the reunion dinner is special. Everybody comes back. If you don't come back, you'll be in big trouble, right? So why is it so important to the Chinese? Because to them, it is a time of family gathering together. And that one meal signifying that they are united, they are still peaceful, and the whole family is, in one piece. The significance is really, beyond what maybe the young people think. During dinner, we all know it's so important. But to the Jews, the Seder meal is just as important. Now, interestingly, these two cultures, have you heard about another culture that they have a family during New Year or the Eve of New Year, the meal is that's so important? If you find out, please let me know. Then we can learn more. But I don't think so. But how come all these similarities? Now, by now, it's already 4 similarities. If there is a coincidence, one time too many, it's not a coincidence. When I remember I was courting my wife there, who was my girlfriend, every night I met her at the same place. Then she asked me, I say, coincidence. Coincidence. Every night, 5:30, I stand at, or what road is that? I can't remember. Lao Pas are there. Okay. The building has been demolished already, They built a new building. You see, every 5:30 I stand down there. Hey! See, coincidence. She believes it's a coincidence. No, it was not coincidence. It was orchestrated. It was planned. Right? It was designed. The same with all this similarity. I believe that it's not just similarities and coincidences, right? No. And so in the Passover meal, they eat and they celebrate. And our Chinese New Year meal, I hope you have celebrated yours, right? Today I see how young couples struggle. Wow, they go to the mother's side, they go to the father's side. So they eat on the eve, they eat on the first day. They eat on the lunch, during lunchtime they eat dinner. Some even eat breakfast. Now, why we do all that? Let me ask you, why do we do all that? Oh, because that meal is just that important. It's just going to show and prove to us that that meal is just so important. So I hope that during this time when you go and do your visitation, you can bring some of this talking point. It's a talking point that you can share. You can talk with your loved ones, especially your seniors, right, about such similarity. Then they know that you got a little bit of ink in your stomach. Chinese is called 墨水. Got a little bit of ink. Sometimes they thought that we use ball pen. Fifth similarity we have is the unleavened food. The unleavened food. Now, during the Feast of the Unleavened Bread, obviously the Jew will avoid anything leavened. So, no leaven. But for us Chinese, do you know that we also eat unleavened food? What are they? See, the Jews eat this bread, and they especially make this, during the Passover meal, right? They're elaborate, right? You can celebrate Passover meal, and it's a very elaborate meal. I experienced once in Israel. It was really fun, the Sabbath meal. They only call it Sabbath, not even Seder meal. Like, it's only a Sabbath meal, but it was very fun, very meaningful. And they make it very significant. So unleavened bread. For us Chinese, we eat what? We eat this nian gao. You know that this particular kind of cake has no yeast. It's just made from flour, rice flour. So it's very hard. You keep for 1 year, it's like stone. If your enemy come, no need to use any other weapon. I still have one in my fridge. Previous year one. We still haven't made a resolution to steam it and eat it yet. Was the previous year one. Really? Wow, it's very hard now. Dehydrated. And but when you steam it and put in coconut, grated coconut is fantastic. So we eat this unleavened. Why of all food you want to eat unleavened kind of nian gao? Interesting, right? And then you eat this also. The tang yuan. And tang yuan is also the ball. It's unleavened. Although inside we put the fillings, right? But unleavened. In fact, if you live in China, you live in the northern area, they eat dumplings, 饺子. The dumplings are all unleavened, by the way. So during the festival, they eat a lot of unleavened food stuff. I mean, obviously, you may say this is just coincidence. I don't want to say too much, okay? Maybe, I don't know. But how come so many coincidences, you see? Right? There's so many other type of wonderful food to eat. Why must eat unleavened one? Because, someone gave me a fruit cake. Oh, I love it. You sprinkle some brandy. Wow, you go to 7 heaven. Oh, fruit cake. But fruit cake has leaven. But unleavened, it's not very nice. Why eat something that's not very nice? Or normally not so tasty on such an important occasion like Chinese New Year? So these are the similarity, and the last similarity, number 6, and then we can go home. Blessing descends from above. Right? Blessing descends from above. And let's read this verse from James. James 1:17 says, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. See, in the Bible, it teaches us that all good things, right? All good things come from where? Come from above. And incidentally, I mean, this one has nothing to do with really the Passover, right? But the interesting thing is this. When the Chinese paste this word fu, by the way, fu, they thought that they don't know Chinese. That's why they paste it upside down. In fact, there was a story, okay? There was a story, how this thing was pasted upside down. The story goes like this. There was a king's brother, Qin Wang, means one of the king brothers. In the house during New Year, they asked the servant to go and paste this, this fuzi at the main door. And then this lowly servant, not educated, he went out there, he took the glue, then he pasted. Then he did not realize that he painted it upside down. Then the hostess, the wife of the king's brother, Fu Jin, they call it Fu Jin. Saw it, was so angry. How come you take the food and you paste upside down? But the chief steward, or the 管家, wow, this one's super smart. Straight away he said, oh no. Fu is from heaven drop down one. That's why I must paste upside down. Okay, that's called Fu Dao, Fu Dao like that. So obviously the hostess was very happy, rewarded the junior servant and also the chief steward. So everybody happy. That was a legend. But really, to paste the food upside down is to recognize that it's not because of our ability, it's not because of our smartness, but all good things come from above. If we recognize that all good things come from above, then I think we have a better sense of who God is. And we know our relationship with God. And then we recognize that, like what Brother Alan mentioned just now, when he try and squeeze money out of your pocket. He tell you a good story. He tell you, something was wonderful, right? Why? This is the truth. It's not our ability alone. Is God just interested in our money? No. I think God is more interested in our heart, our desire, right? Rather than just our money. Money is not that important. The woman who gave two mites, right? Poor widow, 2 mites. Receive all the praise, then all the other rich people who had given much, much more. But the woman with the 2 mites, why? Because Jesus commended her. She gave her all, her attitude. Her all is actually her attitude. Right? It's not just in dollar and cents. So all goodness come from God, come from above. And if we recognize that, then we are in the right, in the right place of relationship with God. See, Passover is God's salvation from danger for the Jew and from slavery. Now, Chinese New Year celebration give Christian now an opportunity to share the gospel with the pre-believer about, this tradition evolves from what? Wanting to avoid danger, right? Wanting to have a good year, how to cross the year. How? Well, when we have received the gift of salvation from our God. So it is a great conversation platform. And I hope that during this next 10 days, you still can visit until the 15th of this month, the next 10 days, and you go and visit, that will be a platform for you to share, to talk about, Maybe you start by asking them, hey, do you know about, test them first, then after that you talk, and then you share with them that this cultural practice, is there so many coincidences? Coincidence happens so many times, right? 1 time, 2 times. But more than that, I honestly believe that God really loves all people, the Jew, the Chinese, right? Especially these two. God loves. That's why we have so many similarities. There are other things that we don't have time to cover all this. And I hope that today, as we celebrate our Chinese New Year, so may God really grant us success in our round of visit. And may God be glorified, right? And that continue to keep these good Chinese traditions, this good Chinese culture. Don't throw them away. And then people will know that, wow, you can be a good Christian and also a good mango Chinese. Right? And be a good Chinese and be a good Christian. So may God bless us and have a blessed Chinese New Year. Shall we all rise as we ask God to dismiss us with His blessing?